this new study by roughly 3 million patients on the recommendation of their doctors.
We weren't expecting to see such a high rate of referrals. That was really surprising to us.
Dr. Rex Hoffman recommended meditation to his patient, Danilo Ramirez, who had stage 2 lymphoma and was too claustrophobic to endure the treatments, which required wearing this large radiation mask. It worked.
It was beautiful that my mind was able to control my heartbeat, my breathing, my relaxation.
I see us using more and more of our patients.
Awareness of the breath.
Researchers say meditation doesn't just relax you, it can physically change your brain. Earlier this year, a Harvard study looked at people who took a mere 8-week course in meditation and found that these two parts of their brains associated with self-awareness and compassion actually grew, while this part associated with stress shrank. There are lots of different kinds of meditation, but the kind most doctors recommend does not involve wearing robes, chanting, lighting incense, or joining a religious group. What it does involve is 3 very basic steps. Step number 1, sit comfortably. Step number 2, focus on your breath. Feel it going in and out. Step number 3, when your mind wanders, which it will a million times, to things like, did I feed the dog? Where are my keys? And what am I having for dinner? Every time your mind wanders, just gently return to your breath. I've interviewed corporate executives who say meditation has made them more focused and effective. And one rock star who says it cured his stage fright.
If I wasn't meditating, if I still had so much stage fright, I might still be in my shell.
That's a pretty big change. So those people had the good part of their brain plumped up. How long did they meditate a day?
Just 30 minutes a day. And there's some indication that if you do less, it will still work. And there's also all sorts of fascinating studies that show that meditation can reduce your blood pressure, boost your immune system, and even make you nicer.
Nicer.
My wife is encouraging me to try that.
Yeah, you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Okay, there's another one. This is this one.
Sit, breathe, watch your thoughts. 8 weeks of daily practice of something called mindfulness meditation had come to an end. The object was to see if it produced strong.
Sorry, this is still in the background.
Get 2 times the points on travel and dining at restaurants from Chase Sapphire Preferred. So you can be inspired by great.
Stress, or in Fiona's case, chronic pain caused by the condition lupus. So, had it?
All I know is that if I do a meditation practice and I'm in a lot of pain, it's not that the pain goes away, it's that it becomes more manageable and it's sort of put in its place, it can be dealt with.
I, though, wanted to look a little deeper, so we went to a neuroscientist.
Can you please keep your eyes closed and allow your mind to wander, okay?
Elena Antonova, the Institute of Psychiatry, wired us up in an MRI scanner. She asked us to let our minds wander normally, and then to meditate. The images are open to argument, but Elena says the results back up Fiona's experiences. On the left, you can see the area in the yellow circle, the response areas created by pain. On the right-hand side, they've calmed down.
So this sort of shows the, tomorrow when I practice it, it's not that the pain goes, but it's I can almost take it down a few notches, and that's physically showing
It
that.
seems to be consistent with your
Oh,
experience.
wow. Gosh, that's amazing.
What about me? When I meditated, an area at the front of my brain became less active. An area associated with self-centeredness, the ego.
The me bit has disappeared.
The me bit is definitely relaxed. Well, I probably wouldn't say completely disappeared because just remember we're looking at the comparative state.
So, did you see this pattern in anyone else?
But definitely the activity have shifted to the posterior bit of the brain from the frontal lobe, and that's generally, the posterior activation are seen in Franciscan nuns, for example, or Tibetan monks during meditation.
A Franciscan nun. I wasn't expecting that. But Fiona's findings were worth further investigation. We sent them to an independent pain researcher at another university who said something had calmed the pain network.
And when Fiona says she can feel less pain or is less troubled by the pain, this is matched up.
That's right, yes, I would say so. This is quite clear from her images.
I knew what it was doing, and I use it all the time, and it helps me with my pain. But there is something very powerful about knowing there is physical, objective proof that it's working.
Scientifically, just 2 scans doesn't prove much, but it does reflect a wider, growing body of research that suggests mindfulness meditation can help stress, pain, and even self-centeredness. David Sillito, BBC News.
Okay. So you can watch more. There's a lot of video clips, information that relate to meditation, the benefit of doing meditation that we discussed last time. It's funny. Why a monk, a neuroscientist, and a movie star are giving advice to business elite? Okay, it's a very famous one. Okay, so let's move back to the lesson today. Okay, let's see. So today we talk about the assembly of this Dharma. And I told you that I move this up, chapter 3, I mean the part 3 up, and the other part of chapter 2 I move later on so that we can learn in the comprehensive way. Okay, so I don't know. Last time I wrote down, I don't know whether it's Ricky or Shikina. Buddha is number 1. Buddha Dharma. Body? No? Okay. So what's, what's been Buddha Dharma body? What's been? Anyone do you know? Okay, so remember, so after the Buddha passed away, right? And there's a Hindu Brahmin, right? He stepped out to divide the Buddha read this into 8 portions. Remember that? And he gave to the kings of 8 countries proportionally. So that is the job of the lay people. And what about the monk or the monastic followers? Remember Mahakashiva? He gathered 5 holy monks to decide against the Buddha teachings after his Nirvana, 3 months after his Nirvana. So that's the first Buddhist council we study, right? And that's what we call Buddha Dharma. Remember, we talk about why the Buddha appoint anyone to head the Buddhist communities. Remember? Why? Again, why?
Wanted everybody to find their own enlightenment.
Yeah, plus, and we will talk about that, but it's so important. After this class, I think you may be able to explain to your friends why Buddhism is so, it doesn't have any, what you call, central authorities, but it's a loose organizations. Remember we talked about that, right? The thing that make people corrupt the most are money, right? Power, right? No matter what kind of occupations or profession you are in. Is that right? So if the Buddha appoints someone to replace him as a central authority, like a Pope, right? What happens? Soon later, who involved with this one here? Right? Power. Play games with power. And for the arhat, remember I told you many times that they have to give it up. They have to transform their ego. As a matter, they have to have this ego. How could they become enlightened? Make sense? So the most important thing is the Buddha teaching, not with the power, not with Israelite, not with the monastery. Understand that? Not to do with leadership. Make sense? So that's why up to now, Buddhism in any country is so loose. So we don't have any central authority. The reason why many people they think Dharma is Buddhist thought, but that's not the case. It is considered as the most respectful one in Buddhist communities, but not all, because we don't have any central authority. That's why the Buddha teaching is so important. That's his Dharma. That's his body. Make sense now? Right. So that's the reason why Buddhism is still exists up to now. Otherwise, if we play with the power, like the other one, it will be corrupt sooner or later, right? And that reason why this is so important message, principle that we set out. Okay, so yes, number 2. I see. You want to have there?
Three baskets.
Yes.
It's
3 baskets.
It's a
Yeah.
traditional term used by Buddhists to describe the various canons
Yes.
of scriptures.
Yes.
The expression of 3 baskets originally referred to 3 receptacles containing the scrolls which Buddhist scriptures were originally preserved.
Yeah.
And there's 3 main categories of those texts.
Yeah.
The first one is sutras, which might contain descriptions of Buddha and parables which may help lead to enlightenment of the reader. The second one is Abhidharma, which is a philosophical and psychological discourse and interpretation of Buddhist doctrine. And the third is Vinaya, which are the rules and regulation of monastic life that range from dress code and dietary rules to prohibition of personal conduct.
Yeah. Okay. Again, this here is the word Pali, and it's in Sanskrit. So there is a system. This kind of language is classical Indian classical languages, and there are system in Sanskrit, Prakrit. Remember? Okay. So again, sutta or sutta is much different, and that is up to now is in the Theravada tradition. This is in Mahima. Okay. Again, sutta or sutta is a set of or collection of the Buddha teachings orally. And plus, on the top that is some lecture, some teaching from his close disciple. Like Shariputra, remember we talked about the 2 main disciples? Remember that? Shariputra? Remember him? We talked about him quickly, right? So sometimes the Buddha appoint him to give a lecture on behalf of him. But remember, actually, he passed away before enter Nirvana. So again, mostly in the sutta collection, the Buddha teach mostly, and some are his close disciple. Even some, especially in the sutra or Sanskrit collection, is some teaching from Bodhisattva or even some God too, but they are in according to the Buddha teaching too. So that's what the collection of sutra or sutta. And Vinaya, again, that is the set of rules for the monks and nuns and lay people, how to conduct, how to live in the monastery, how to basically that's different rules. And it's really similar, not much different. But only the Buddha has only the Buddha who has authority to lay down this set of rules, not other one. not his close disciple, as only him. You see the difference, right? And these commentaries, anyone can come in, can make comments, right? When there's some articles, there's someone bring some article, right? And other people can write commentaries on that article or that book and so forth. Yes.
Was it the Batana?
Vinaya.
Vinaya.
Yeah.
Why is it that only Buddha can write those, or why is it that he has the only authority?
What do you think? What do you think?
Are they rules?
The rules of monks and nuns specifically. Why? But for the sutra, some of his disciple can speak to, but not this one. Why? Why is that?
Because he was enlightened already?
Yeah, it's simple. But why? Why other one can speak for the sutra? Why? Not this one. What is different? What do you think?
Because they're talking about his teachings.
And they may talk about their experience too, right? Right? Understand that? You see the difference? Let me put it this way. In school, everywhere, let's say in order to build a school, do we need to follow a set of rules? It's pretty complicated. Right? To build the school, the hospital, or even the house, you have to go to land and zoning department, right, to get approval from them, right? And it's pretty complicated. Have you been construct any house or shed or remodel your house before? Right? You have to go through all process of approval from land and zoning department, right? Here in New Albany, it's probably much easier than Louisville or big city. You see that? So in any circumstances, we have some kind of rules or that govern how we act. Make sense? So again, especially for the Buddhist monks and nuns, since Buddha had attained enlightenment, he set out the rules. And remember, let me mention one more point. Actually he established, or he provide guidelines for the rules of monks and nuns. They say that 12 years after his enlightenment, not right after he accepted the 5 disciples. You know why? Probably you don't know. 12 years after his enlightenment, and after he had accepted many monks and nuns into the order. You know why? Most of the time, let me put it this way, he waited for them to make mistake to provide the guidelines. He didn't provide the guidelines right before they enter the Sangha. Actually, let me put it this way, from the time that he accepts people into the Sangha, into the 12 years, not many people make mistakes because most of them have dedication in the religious faith, in the religious inclination, in the religious practice. So they really have that kind of interest. So they didn't make much mistake. But later on, remember the Buddha accepted almost everyone. Prostitute, king, prince, business, officers, and so forth. You understand that? There's varieties of people coming to the Sangha. It's not a mess, but some people carry their own habitual patterns. You understand that? And they made a mistake. That's why whenever people make mistake, he established rules for them to follow. Let me put it this way. Let me tell you one example. The first major precept for monks and nuns is for monks, sexual conduct. So most of Buddhist precepts now we have to uphold this as much as Buddhist monks and nuns. There's one story. So from the time that the Buddha attained enlightenment up to the 12 years, he didn't establish any rules. So one day, there's one monk. He came back to visit his mother. And his mother told him, well, you left me and your wife, so I don't have any grandson to carry on the family traditions. You know, in the past, especially in the East, having a son to carry on the family traditions is very important. So why don't you sleep with your wife so that at least you provide a son for me, a grandson for me to carry on my family traditions. And after that, you can go back and become a monk again, don't worry. So what happened? Because at that time, the Buddha have not established this half rule yet. So he did. But they went after he went back to see the Buddha. He's so regretful. And he revealed his mistake to the Buddha. And of course, the Buddha admonished him. And at that time, from that time on, he had established this first rule for monks. It makes sense now? But before, of course, whoever enters this religious order need to know that they need to understand from that time. Yeah.
So, if there was another Buddha to come into the picture, could that Buddha change some of those rules, or could he make more rules, another Buddha?
Depend. I think Buddhist will depend. He may make less, may make more. And even right before the Buddha entered Nirvana, or before he passed, when he said, you guys can ignore some minor rules. That's unnecessary to govern the Sangha. But later on, during the first Buddhist council, they decided to keep all. You understand that? Yes.
Okay. In the Tibetan canon, I discovered there were, like, okay, as you know, there's thousands of texts of rules and regulations. I'm trying to figure out with this Vijnana, how many rules are there?
Plenty. Basically, you can say actually for monks and nuns, especially we have later on we can study. We have 4 major ones and 13 intermediate one and other minor one too. And in total for our Mahayana traditions we have about 250.
How many?
250.
250. Okay.
And yeah, that is for Mahayana, and for Theravada they have 227. It's different, it's just the minor one, but the major ones are the same. Even Tibetan Buddhism too. As later we discussed about that. Okay? So you understand, right? So you understand why the Buddha established this type of rule only for him. He has only him who has authorities. Make sense? Right. Okay, again, commentary is so simple, right? Anyone can make comment to the word teaching as whichever. This is simple. Okay? Yeah. Let me see. Okay, the next one, who is this? Taylor? Is that right? Is that number 3? The formation of Pali Canyon, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, please. What do you have there?
I just had that it was pretty much the standard collection of the Theravada Buddhist traditions. And the reason it's called the Pali Canon is because it's written in the Pali language. I believe it was written in Sri Lanka in like 30, 34, 29, somewhere around that time.
This time.
And it's in 3 categories.
This one here too. Yeah, it's 3 categories. That's all?
Yeah, that's all I
Okay.
have.
Okay, let me go over one more time so you can understand. Now, remember, can you see, right? Remember, basically, probably, according to some scholar, probably Buddha speak, can you see, Mangada, Can you see that? Mangal language or all the indigenous languages around this area when he walked around to spread his teaching in this northern part of India, right? And remember, I mentioned to you that this one monk asked him whether they need to preserve the teaching in Sanskrit or not. At that time, that is the oral language for the elite, for the high class people, like for the priest, for the royal or prison, not for the slave one. Did they mention this? But the Buddha said no way, no. You can speak any language, respect my Dharma. Don't restrain yourself in one language. Make sense? So the reason why this spreads far, this could spread far in this realm and other places, especially during the Ashoka times. Remember? Remember when he erected the pillars and spread out all the Indian continents here, and he inspired the Buddha teachings on the pillars. Remember? And spread everywhere around India, as well as spread to different countries up to the Third Council. Right? Of course, up to now, they still debate about what type of languages they use when they spread. When Ashoka sent the missionary groups to the west and to the east, right? But according to many scholars, they agree that remember Ashoka's son and daughter, Mahima, the prince and princess, they brought the Dharma, they brought Buddhism to Sri Lanka. Remember? We talked about that, right? Yeah. And starting from the 1st and the 2nd century BCE, they start to write out Buddha teaching in Pali at that cave. This is one here I kept for you to see. This is a famous cave called Rock Temple, where they condemned the Buddhist monks to write out the Buddha teachings in Pali. Remember, Pali is the classical languages of Indian. They are the sister languages. Yes?
So what's the difference between these languages? One is for the elite, the people like the priests and stuff like that. The lower class people, what's the difference in their language?
Up to now, in India, there are hundreds of languages. But of course, most of them they speak in Hindu, and some of them speak English, but they have some dialects, hundreds of dialects. And here, during even the Buddha times, and this extend to Ashoka, these are what they call the languages of the elites, of the high class people. Of course, the common people, they spoke dialects. It's common sense. Make sense?
It's like in the Middle Ages when only the Pope and the Latin priests were allowed to know Latin. The common people spoke whatever dialects that they had in their local dialects, but you weren't allowed to know Latin unless you were a priest or royalty. Like they didn't just teach anybody Latin.
Okay, so how could they understand what the priest was saying in Latin?
I don't know.
A lot of times they didn't. That's why the church had so much control.
They still do that now in Catholic churches. They speak it in Latin sometimes, and you don't know what they're saying.
That's why they have so much power. If only one group of people have the control of the language, then
that's the whole purpose.
That's the point.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how did they communicate different people, different languages? How did they all communicate with so many different languages?
Yeah, so yes, you can say that here. And I told you that the Buddha allowed them to speak their own dialect, right? Right? In their local dialects. But when they convened, yes, when they have first, second, and third Buddhist council, of course they may use the elite language. We don't know. But according to scholar, they first start to write down the Buddha teaching in Pali. in the 1st or 2nd century BCE in Sri Lanka. It makes sense? But according to some scholars, the Sanskrit text, the Sanskrit collection has been compiled many centuries earlier. Remember during the Ashoka times, he spread out. He sent his missionary to different countries. Probably according to them, some scholars they say he could use part of Sanskrit. And of course, this is the language of the elites, but this is the we can say that the common language for the Buddha teachings.
Okay.
Makes sense? But this, as well as this Pali language, nowadays, let's say if
Number 2, focus on your breath. Feel it going in and out. Step number 3, when your mind wanders, which it will a million times, to things like, did I feed the dog? Where are my keys? And what am I having for dinner? Every time your mind wanders, just gently return to your breath. I've interviewed corporate executives who say meditation has made them more focused and effective. And one rock star who says it cured his stage fright.
If I wasn't meditating, if I still had so much stage fright, I might still be in my shell.
That's a pretty big change. So those people had the good part of their brain plumped up. How long did they meditate a day?
Just 30 minutes a day. And there's some indication that if you do less, it will still work. And there's also all sorts of fascinating studies that show that meditation can reduce your blood pressure, boost your immune system, and even make you nicer.
Nicer.
My wife is encouraging me to try that.
Yeah, you look wonderful.
Thank you.
Anyway.
there's another one. This is this one. BBC.
Researchers say meditation doesn't just relax you, it can physically change your brain. Earlier this year, a Harvard study looked at people who took a mere 8-week course in meditation and found that these two parts of their brains associated with self-awareness and compassion actually grew, while this part associated with stress shrank. There are lots of different kinds of meditation, but the kind most doctors recommend does not involve wearing robes, chanting, lighting incense, or joining a religious group. What it does involve is 3 very basic steps. Step number 1, sit comfortably.
Sit, breathe, watch your thoughts. 8 weeks of daily practice of something called mindfulness meditation had come to an end. The object was to see if it produced strong.
Sorry, this is still in the background.
Get 2 times the points on travel and dining at restaurants from Chase Sapphire Preferred. So you can be inspired by great.
Stress, or in Fiona's case, chronic pain caused by the condition lupus. So,
and now, according to this new study, by roughly 3 million patients on the recommendation of their doctors.
We weren't expecting to see such a high rate of referrals. That was really surprising to us.
Dr. Rex Hoffman recommended meditation to his patient, Danilo Ramirez, who had stage 2 lymphoma and was too claustrophobic to endure the treatments, which required wearing this large radiation mask. It worked.
It was beautiful that my mind was able to control my heartbeat, my breathing, my relaxation.
I see us using more and more of our patients.
The awareness of the